Park,
Hi, here.
Conquest,
And hi. Here.
Bastido,
Here.
Mulliner is absent,
I ripped my tea bag.
Brennan,
Here.
Barimas. Okay, so I know she's here, but I'm going to put absent at roll call. Okay. Deuter,
Here.
Dunn. Absent. Hill,
Here.
Palumski,
Here.
Jensen. 10 present, 4 absent at roll call.
10 present, 4 absent. We have a quorum. I ask you all to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Tamer, do we have any written communications from the public?
No, Mayor.
And I see no members of the public present that would have communications. Public forum, has anyone signed in? for
No, Mayor.
All right. Is there anyone present in the audience that would like to be recognized for public forum? Please raise your hand. All right, there being none. We move on to the consent agenda. Can I have a motion? Actually, is there any item on the consent agenda that any member of the council would like to have removed for either discussion or to vote against? Alderman Bastido?
Yes, and I apologize. I am looking through the list here. 513, please.
513. Anyone else? All right, can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda minus item 513? Alderman Jensen with a motion, Alderman Honquist with a second. Clerk Tamer, would you read the consent agenda, please?
Yep,
Here you go.
I got it, thank you. Minutes of the regular meeting of the Elmhurst City Council on April 18th, 2022. 5.2, accounts payable May 2nd, 2022, totaling $1,254,397.82. 5.3, appointment to the Senior Citizen Commission, Amy Sorrell. 5.4, to the appointment to the Veterans Commission, Alex Belly. Can I ask you to, I need to take this off. I'm sorry, can you finish that? I was at 5.4.
City Manager, if you would pick it up on
Yes.
5.5.
5.4, appointment to the Veterans Commission, Alex Bully. 5.5, reappointment to the Commission on Youth, Ann Zimmer. 5.6, reappointment to the Economic Development Commission, Bill Shanklin and John Suzuki. 5.7, report purchase of hardware and maintenance contract for copiers. 5.8, Knights of Columbus Annual Classic Car Show. 5.9, report Elmhurst History Museum Public Museum Capital Grant. 5.10, report Valmont anodized aluminum street light pole purchase. 5.11, report street light pole painting. 5.12, report provision of custodial services. 5.13, report.
One skip.
5.14, report Riverside ditch cleaning. 5.15, report Arlington Cemetery Reservoir land transfer with IDNR. 5.16, report Van Buren Street and Crescent Avenue reconstruction improvements construction bids. 5.17, report First Street Bridge Rehabilitation Project construction engineering services. 5.18, report American Water Company cost sharing construction agreement. 5.19, report Lake Street Water Main Improvements Project professional engineering services. 5.20, report emergency pump repair Randolph and West Stormwater Pumping Station. 5.21, report flushing and sampling station material purchase. 5.22, an ordinance approving a preliminary plat of approval for the properties commonly known as 165 North Clinton Avenue, 169 North Clinton Avenue, and 360 East Schiller Street, Elmhurst, Illinois. 5.23, an ordinance denying a rear yard setback variation for the property commonly known as 782 South Prospect Avenue, Elmhurst, Illinois. 5.24, an ordinance waiving bid and authorizing the issuance of a notice of award purchase order for the purchase of replacement traffic signal controller equipment. 5.25, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a non-exclusive license agreement by and between Elmhurst Walk-in Assistance Network, Inc. and the City of Elmhurst, DuPage, and Cook Counties, Illinois. 5.26, an ordinance waiving bid and authorizing the purchase and installation of 6 additional automated license plate reader units and 2 communication units for the police department's use within the City of Elmhurst. 5.27, a resolution approving and authorizing the Federal Construction Satisfaction and Release Agreement. 5.28, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of a professional traffic engineering services agreement between the City of Elmhurst and Koenig, Lindgren, O'Hara, Abuna, Inc. for services related to the Neighborhood Traffic Study Pilot Program. 5.29, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of a professional resident engineering services agreement with Engineering Resource Associates, Inc. for the 2022 Water Main Improvement Project. 5.30, a resolution to approve and authorize the execution of a professional construction engineering services agreement by and between Clark Dietz, Inc. and the City of Elmhurst for the Brush Hill Roadway Improvement Project. 5.31, a resolution authorizing DuPage County gasoline and diesel procurement joint purchase. 5.32, a resolution authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement by and between Leopardo Companies, Inc. and the City of Elmhurst, Illinois for construction management services for improvements to the Elmhurst History Museum. 5.33, a resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award and authorizing the execution of a contract for the First Street Bridge Rehabilitation Project, Project 21-21 for the City of Elmhurst, Illinois. 5.34, a resolution authorizing issuance of a notice of award and authorizing the execution of a contract for painting the Public Works Building Project, Project number 22-23. 5.35, a resolution to approve and authorize the execution of a professional construction engineering services agreement by and between Clark Dietz, Inc. and the City of Elmhurst for the Van Buren Street and Crescent Avenue Reconstruction Improvement Project. 5.36, a resolution accepting Civil Tech Engineering, Inc.'s Elmhurst City Center Traffic Review Report.
Very good. That's half the meeting. Clerk Tamer, will you call the roll on the consent
Sorry about that,
agenda
everyone.
minus item 5.13?
Yep. Toludo.
Aye.
Cahill is absent. Nudera.
Aye.
Park.
Aye.
Conquest.
Aye.
Bastido.
Aye.
Mulliner is absent. Brennan.
Aye.
Verimas. Aye. Deuter.
Aye.
Dunn is absent. Hill.
Aye.
Palumski.
Aye.
Jensen. 11 ayes, 0 nays, 3 absent.
11 ayes, 0 nay, 3 absent. The consent agenda minus 5.13 is approved. Item 5.13, would you read the title of the report?
Yep. It is therefore the recommendation of the Public Works and Building Committee that the engineering design proposal from Civil Tech Engineering, Inc. for the Bike and Pedestrian Improvements Engineering Design Services in the amount not to exceed $69,298 be accepted, and that the city attorney be authorized to prepare the necessary city council documents for approval. Signed, Michael Brennan, Chair, Michael Honquist, Vice Chair, Brian P. Cahill, Alderman, Ward 4, and Tina Park, Alderwoman, Ward 5.
You can have a motion to put this before the council. Alderman Brennan, second Alderman Honquist. Discussion? Alderman Brennan.
So thank you, Mayor. So just to give a little background on this report, item 513 is a report for engineering design services for our bike and pedestrian improvements. The history on this, in 2011, the city prepared and adopted the Elmhurst Bicycle Plan and implemented Phase 1 improvements in subsequent years. In July of 2019, the city hired Civil Tech to update our plan and take a harder look at what we're doing in the city. This project was planned for a 12-month duration to ensure we got appropriate resident input and feedback. In 2021, Civil Tech prepared cost estimates for 19 projects. These estimates were used for budgeting for years 2022 and 2026 through 2026. So basically, the implementation, if we were to do all 19 projects, what would it cost? So the report before us tonight is an engineering design proposal for 6 of those 19 projects. The 6 projects in the report are being targeted because they're smaller in nature and easier to do and to complete. So we want to start there and start some momentum with this project. So public safety is a huge priority, and bike and pedestrian improvements in the city, I think, is an important improvement for us, and everybody wins as a result. With that, I ask for council support on this report, and given that Alderman Bastillo pulled this report, I yield the floor to her per the chair's.
Thank you, Mr. Brennan.
Okay.
Alderman Bastido.
Thank you. I support this report. I know a lot of community engagement went into the bike and pedestrian plan, and as Alderman Brennan said, the 2011 bike plan was updated to be a bike and pedestrian plan, and I think that's great for a lot of reasons. But while there was a lot of community engagement, I'm not sure that a lot of the public is aware of this plan. So I think with these first few projects, which were labeled low-hanging fruit, because they're not super complex and not super affordable. They've been budgeted. I think people will start noticing, and hopefully the public will take more notice, because I think it's important to have some citywide engagement as we start going down the path of deciding what projects are next. And I think one good thing is that having an updated bike and pedestrian plan when we start applying for grants, because we do plan to fund a lot of these with grants, it makes us a lot more attractive and a lot more eligible for grants if we have a plan like this in place. So I support the report. I think it's great to try to bring as much attention to this as we can, and I think when these 6 are implemented that it will do just that. So thank you to the committee.
Thank you, Alderman. And, Alderman Jensen.
Thanks, Mayor. First of all, I want to say I appreciate all the hard work that went into the formulation of the bike and ped plan. Looking at the map of projects planned, both those that we're considering tonight and the entirety of the bike and ped plan, it's easy to see that there isn't a project on every street or in every neighborhood. However, enhancing current or developing new bike paths and sidewalks are clearly for the common good of all residents and do not just benefit property owners and residents in the immediate vicinity of a given project. The bike and ped plan enjoys broad community support and passes council unanimously because Elmhurst understands that investing in projects that make our city more bicycle and pedestrian friendly is good for our health, safety, and property values. I look forward to the day when the bike and ped plan is fully implemented, our complete streets policy is realized, and every Elmhurst child has the same opportunity to safely walk or bike to school. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Jensen. Alderman Nudera, then Alderman Hill.
I have some questions, concerns, and I may not be completely informed. However, I wrote a little note here. Bike lanes have their place and cycling has many benefits. However, marking up roadways and accommodating buffered bike lanes, bike boulevards reduce the lane size for motorists, can make traffic more problematic. This is a primary concern for some of the proposed routes. When in 2021, there were 1,256 recorded traffic crashes, it seems roadways should increase or at least maintain lane size instead of reducing width and making it tighter, giving motorists less space and therefore time to utilize when making a necessary evasive maneuver. Some of the points to consider that I'm not aware of is the insulation of bike lanes creating more traffic congestion or less? Are there more crashes between cyclists and motorists? Calling for these lanes at the proposed location. In 2021, we had 3 more crashes in 2020. However, the recorded cyclist car crashes for the past 10 years have been low. What drives the decision to make bike lanes in the described locations given the engineering designs in this report? Is one block bike lane necessary? Are there lanes on both sides of the street? Is this worth the cost? Will marked shared lanes in heavy traffic areas cause more cyclist crashes? I've questioned high school students who have been involved in cycling crashes with motorists. I've learned that most of these accidents have occurred on buffered bike lanes when the motorist is exiting their vehicle at the same time the cyclist approaches riding into their open car door. Some of the routes within these reports will have little to no impact on traffic. For example, the north-south path connecting Wilder Park to Prairie Path. However, some of these proposed regions may have a negative impact on safety. Having safe surroundings for both the cyclists and the motorists is the goal, and some of these bike lane plans do just that. guide safe travel. However, some of the bike lane plans may cause more stress, frustration, danger for all involved. Therefore, I refrain from this report until I, 1, am better informed, and 2, satisfied with the engineering or routes of your locations.
Alderman Udera. Alderman Hill.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to say that I appreciate the work that went into this report, and I support this report since I try to walk myself everywhere I can, except for today. So with that being said, I think I would be remiss if I didn't take the opportunity to point out that while we support improvements such as these, there are significant areas of Elmhurst that still lack a pedestrian infrastructure. And I hope we find some solution or remain committed to some way in addressing these areas going forward. I'm not thinking of a solution tomorrow or anything like that, but just some long-term solution that can address these areas and at least give them the opportunity to enjoy pedestrian improvements, if not bike lanes. So, thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Hill. Alderman Honquist.
So based on a couple of comments, I just wanted to mention what I said in committee. I have similar concerns. This is an engineering study, so I don't see any issue with moving forward with it. But as we go forward, I am also interested in not only the cost to execute this, but I have the same concerns in talking to staff. Many of the roads in Elmhurst are not very wide. Number one. Number two, in a city like Chicago that has very long roadways and a lot of connectivity, we don't. You can move pretty quickly through Elmhurst on a bike, and you kind of get to a road to nowhere if the local, surrounding communities don't do something. So I think this is a good first start, but I share some of the concerns about how much farther we go after we kind of get through this first phase. So thank you.
Thank you. Other discussion? All right, Clerk Tamer.
Toledo,
Aye.
Cahill absent, Nudera,
No.
Park,
Aye.
Honquist,
Aye.
Bastido,
Aye.
Mulliner absent, Brennan,
Aye.
Barimas,
Aye.
Deuter,
Aye.
Dunn, absent, Hill,
Aye.
Halumsky,
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
10 ayes, 1 nay, 3 absent.
10 ayes, 1 nay, 3 absent. Report 5.13 is approved. On to ordinances, item 6.1. Clerk Tamer, would you read the ordinance, please?
I don't think, hold on 1 second. It's not in here. No. No, it's not printed. An ordinance hold on. Yeah, an ordinance waiving bid for the emergency pump repair at the Randolph and West Stormwater Pumping Station. See item 5.20.
Very good. May I have a motion to put 6.1 before the council? Alderman Brennan, second Alderman Honquist. Alderman Brennan.
Thank you, Mayor. So ordinance 6.1 is related to consent agenda item 5.20, which is a report related to an emergency pump repairs at Washington and West Storm Pumping Station. The approved report called for the suspension of the rules to allow the city council to approve the report and vote on this ordinance in the same meeting in the interest of public safety from storm water flooding. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Brennan. Discussion on item 6.1. Clerk Tamer, call the roll.
Toledo,
Aye.
Cahill absent, Nudera,
Aye.
Park,
Aye.
Honquist,
Aye.
Bastido,
Aye.
Mulliner absent, Brennan,
Aye.
Barimas,
Aye.
Deuter,
Aye.
Dunn absent, Hill,
Aye.
Halumsky,
Aye.
Jensen. 11 ayes, 0 nays, 3 absent.
11 ayes, 0 nays, 3 absent. Item 6.1 passes. On to resolutions. Item 7.1. Clerk Tamer, if you would read the resolution.
A resolution to approve and authorize the execution of a cost-sharing construction agreement between the City of Elmhurst, Illinois, and Illinois American Water Company for the resurfacing of Wrightwood Avenue. See item 5.18.
All right, a motion to put 7.1 before the council. Alderman Brennan with a motion, second. Alderman Honquist. Alderman Brennan.
Mayor, thank you. So Resolution 7.1 is related to consent agenda item 5.18, which is a report related to road resurfacing at Wrightwood Avenue between Van Auken Street and Howard. The cost of this work is being shared with the city and Illinois American Water Company with a start date later this May, in May. The approved report called for the suspension of the rules to allow City Council to approve the report and vote on this resolution in the same meeting to ensure we get the project done in the May-June timeframe. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Brennan. Discussion? Clerk Tamer, call the roll, please.
Toludo.
Aye.
Cahill, absent. Nudera.
Aye.
Park.
Aye.
Conquest.
Aye.
Bastido.
Aye.
Mulliner, absent. Brennan.
Aye.
Barimas.
Aye.
Deuter.
Aye.
Dunn, absent. Hill.
Aye.
Palumski.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
11 ayes, 0 nays, 3 absent.
11 ayes, 0 nays, 3 absent. Resolution 7.1 is adopted. Item 7.2, Clerk Tamer, please read the resolution.
A resolution to approve and authorize the execution of an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Elmhurst, Illinois, and the State of Illinois Department of Natural Resources for an Illinois Public Museum capital grant. See item 5.9.
Can I have a motion to put item 7.2 before the council? Motion by Alderman Deuter, second by Alderman Hill. Alderman Deuter.
Thank you. This resolution is related to a report that was on the consent agenda tonight. The resolution authorizes the mayor to accept a grant from the state. This is the first step in a really exciting project. The city of Elmhurst has been awarded a grant of almost $700,000 to create a public performance area on the line between the History Museum and the Education Center. And the grant will also, as part of the project, the grant will also cover the cost of turning the parking area that is just to the west of the Education Center into flex space, so that can be used for events as well. So congratulations to the museum on being awarded this grant. It's great. There's no match associated with it. And the piece before us tonight, again, is just to authorize the mayor to execute the grant agreement, first step in the project.
Thank you, Alderman Deuter. Any discussion? Clerk Tamer, call the roll.
Toludo.
Aye.
Cahill, absent. Nudera.
Aye.
Park.
Aye.
Conquest.
Aye.
Bastido.
Aye.
Mulliner, absent. Brennan.
Aye.
Varimas.
Aye.
Deuter.
Aye.
Dunn, absent. Hill.
Aye.
Palumski.
Aye.
Jensen. 11 ayes, 0 nays, 3 absent.
11 ayes, 0 nays, 3 absent. Item 7.2 is adopted, and thank you to our museum director for processing that grant. Item 8, reports and recommendations of elected and appointed officials, 8.1, Mayor 11. 3 items. First of all, Pancake Day, Kiwanis Pancake Day, Saturday, 6 a.m., 11 a.m. at the American Legion. Second, Alderman Ramus and I attended Firefighter Appreciation Day at Fire Station 1. Very good crowd, a lot of people there, good event. Had a good discussion with Sparky the fire dog. Item 3, there was an article in the paper. I don't know, some people I saw it, some people called me. It was a major expose by the Tribune and ProPublica, the price kids pay. The executive summary of the story is it talked about the practice of municipal police writing tickets for students both in middle and high school for infractions that occurred in school. There were significant fines levied, in some cases $350 or $450. The public hearings for juveniles were attended by the reporters because they are open, because they are an ordinance violation. We do not have that practice in Elmhurst. We do not write tickets ever in middle schools. It's very rare that we would write a ticket for someone committing an infraction in high school would have to be something a little bit more serious and maybe even a second or third occurrence. Unlike these other communities that are being called out for these excessive fines, we have a peer jury program that is appreciated by many parents who've had infractions to have the peers of these students adjudicate those claims. Even if you go before our hearing officers, we have community service, and a lot of these other towns that didn't, which is kind of remarkable to me. Although in the past we used to have the juveniles appear in the same ordinance violation hearings as grown-ups, we don't do that anymore. We have a separate session for just them. So I wanted to assure the council and the public that we are mindful of these kinds of issues and that we are on a higher level on them. That is all I have. City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. Two things. One, Clerk Tamer makes it look a lot easier than it is to read that. Consent bill, let me tell you. Second, I want to thank all the city staff for their work over the weekend, for not only the pancake breakfast that the fire department had, but at Art in the Park, which was back after 2 years, and but for the weather, I would call it successful. So thank you.
Yeah, and I want to go back and just add the 2021 annual report from the fire department was the topic at the Firefighters Day at Station 1 that Chief Anashevitz presented and will shortly be online. It's here at the dais for you. Any other reports of elected officials? There being none, item...
I think Alderman Varimus might have something.
Oh, Alderman Bramus.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm sorry, I think I missed this at the beginning of the meeting. I was a little late. I am elated to be on the Pet Parade Committee for Spring Road Business District, and registration is now open. The Pet Parade is going to be on Saturday, May 4th, so it's free. We're going to have a lot of family activities for kids and pets, and you can register at springroad.com.
Did you say Saturday, May 4th?
Oh, May 14th.
May 14th, so we have a 10-day reprieve. All right, very good. Thank you, Alderman Bramus. Anyone else? All right, that brings us on to item 9, other business. Is there any other business to be brought before the council? There being none, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn. Alderman Bastido. Second, Alderman Hill. All in favor say aye. 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 Opposed? None? We are adjourned. Thank you.